Here's my 2023 TM300MX. It's pretty awesome. I have 3 races on it so far. I'm racing B Open in the ECEA Enduro series and the Hare Scramble series. We've had 3 Enduro so far, and it's been great. I just want to do a quick walkthrough of the bike. There are some things that are quite different on this bike compared to some of the other European models from Sherco, from KTM, etc. Yeah, so first of all, this is the anniversary edition bike. The anniversary edition bike comes with the pink plastics. Comes with 90s retro graphics, which are not on right now because I had to put on my own graphics. I did save the old graphics though. They're stored safely on wax paper, so they can be potentially reused in the future. Let's see what else. The anniversary edition bike came with these improved foot pegs from TM. They're awesome. What else? The anniversary edition bike just has some anodized reservoir caps for the clutch and front brake master cylinder. Let's see. And I don't remember what else. Just some anodized little hard parts like axle pullers for the front and rear. Just little bits. It's all about looks with the anniversary edition. Obviously we have the purple seat here, which is looking a little bit gray right now from me not washing the bike since the last race a couple days ago. It's been sitting in my van ever since. We've got the this is an unfinished pipe, so it's not nickel plated, it's just raw aluminum, I guess. Actually it would be steel, not aluminum. Yeah. And it's an HGS pipe that comes stock on all TMs, to my knowledge, at least the 2-strokes. The HGS pipe. Let's see. Yeah, so the TM has KYB forks and a TM shock made in-house. I hear that the TM shock is like an Öhlins copy. I don't have experience with Öhlins, so I don't know how accurate that is. Some people have told me that it's a Showa copy. I don't, whatever. I can tell you that the valving on the suspension is pretty stiff. This is the motocross model, so that is to be expected. I've heard people who get the Enduro model, they've also had their valving a bit stiff from the factory. So far for the racing that I've been doing, they've been all sand races. So the valving has actually been really good. I've only adjusted the clickers slightly. There's a little bit more adjustment that I should do to get comfortable, to get a better performance for the sand races for my pace. But I'm trying not to go crazy and throw things way out of whack. I know that what I have here is working, so I'm continuing to use it. Oh, what else? Let's see a look at my list right here. The reason, so I'm racing Enduro and Hare Scramble, and actually I'm going to be doing hard Enduro as well. Why did I get the motocross model? Well, really the long and short of it is that my dealer recommended that I get the motocross model because of the power characteristics of the motocross model versus the Enduro model. To be honest, I really took a chance on his opinion. I am happy with the power delivery of this bike. I cannot say with certainty whether it's all that different than the Enduro model. I can only assume that the mappings available on the motocross model are different than the Enduro model, but I've never test rode an Enduro model to really say. So what I can say is that I'm happy with the power delivery on this bike. And related to that, you'll see that I have the carbureted model. I ordered the carbureted model just because, although I might be a software engineer, I still do not trust all of the new technology that's going into the two-stroke bikes these days. It's not so much that I don't trust the hardware. I totally trust the injectors, the throttle bodies. Like, I don't think that stuff's gonna fail. It can, but it's not likely, I don't think. What I am uncertain about is the electrical systems that the manufacturers build around it. Some KTMs have had problems like coming lean from the factory, and the TPI bikes, what I hear, they all kind of run a little bit lean, but then, and it's fine, but then you get a couple that are like total lemons, and you have a ton of problems, and I just didn't want to risk it. Now, TM, they also have, or had, TPI for 3 years, maybe 4 years, and I haven't really heard about lean issues with the TPIs on TM bikes. Now they have TBI. As of 2022, they've had TBI, throttle body injection, and 2023 would be the second year. This is a 2023. I still want to give it some more time before I jump in on the two-stroke fuel-injected train. I'm really happy with the Key carburetor. It's the same carburetor that was on my YZ, so I'm familiar with it. I already have the hardware for it, like tons of jets and stuff. That said, this bike came super rich from the factory. Super rich. The stock jetting, if you care to know, was a 48 Pilot 180 main N1EH needle at the third clip. It was super fat. I rode my first race with that jetting, and the bike ran great. Fortunately, for that first race, it was actually like 30 degrees Fahrenheit outside, so the rich jetting was a benefit. But seriously, I was like, I think that I didn't even get 40 miles out of a full tank. This tank I measured to be 2.3 gallons. This is not the oversized tank. This is the standard tank. You can get an oversized tank, which is more like 2.8 gallons, I think, maybe 3 gallons. So yeah, anyway, I rejetted it, and now I'm getting like a 45-mile range roughly on this tank, maybe even a little bit more, depending on the kind of riding. What else is there to say? It being the motocross model, it came with standard motocross chain. It's not an O-ring chain. I have an O-ring chain to put on. I'm just gonna wear this one out. Obviously I got it, so run it. And let's see, on these bikes they come with front Brembo brakes and rear Nissin brakes. I hear that TM, they like the Nissin rear brake better than the Brembo. I admit that I don't really have a ton of experience with Brembo brakes. I can tell you that the front brake feels a lot better than my Nissin front brake on my YZ, but it's no secret the YZ front brakes kind of suck. I'm comfortable with the Nissin rear, so yeah, and the Brembo front brake's awesome. As for the clutch, on this bike we have a 10mm master cylinder. The KTMs come with a 9mm master cylinder, or at least the Enduro model KTMs do. This means that there's a little bit shorter clutch engagement point on the motocross model of the TM, and it's a little bit harder of a pull. The 9mm supposedly are on the Enduro model TMs, but I've heard a mixed bag of people saying they got a 23 and has a 10mm master cylinder clutch master cylinder, and some people have the 9mm on their bike. I don't know if this is just a transition year. Maybe the 24s will have 9mm on the Enduro models. I don't know about the motocross models for the TMs. Okay, what else? So I'm running, this is not the wheel set that came with the bike. The bike, it being a motocross model, came with a 21 and 19 inch rear wheel. I'm trying to exchange the 19 for an 18, but that aside, this actually is a wheel set I ordered from Wheelworks. They build a TM wheel set. The hubs are they match the stock TM hubs, so they're not like adapted hubs. If you're familiar with TMs and trying to get second wheel sets, if you order from some companies, they'll give you a wheel that has like I think a KTM front hub with like special spacers to adapt, and because of that, you end up having to use different brake rotors between wheel sets, different sprockets between wheel sets, because the bolt patterns don't match what the bolt pattern is on the TM. Wheelworks has the same bolt patterns, the same hub specs and everything, which is awesome. But that's not all with the Wheelworks wheels. By the way, I'm not sponsored by Wheelworks. I just bought this wheel set like, you know, a few months ago when I was waiting for the TM to come in, and I knew I wanted 2 wheel sets. So the other thing with the wheels is that he uses heavy duty Buchanan stainless spokes. So the TM spokes are something like, I think they're like 9, maybe 10 gauge spokes. These are 8 gauge spokes, stainless. They're just beefy spokes for the rigors of enduro racing. So super happy with these. I checked the spoke tension a couple after 2 races, and yeah, they didn't really need any snugging. They were built really well. In addition to that, I'm running these V-Moto tire Force AT Apex. I know that's a mouthful. It's V-Moto tires. They're the Force tires, and I have the Apex compound. I'll talk about that more like in another video, I guess, but basically they're not a gummy, they're more like a tacky compound. The sidewalls are relatively rigid, not like full motocross, they're like enduro tires, but the knobs are internally, the structure is hard like a motocross tire, but they're wrapped in a tacky compound. If you've ever run an IRC VE33S rear, I would say that the compound is about as gummy as those tires, but the knobs don't twist like the VE33S does. These knobs, they have some flex to them for sure. You know, I can take these knobs here and kind of twist them a little bit, but and same with the rear, but it's not to the same level as the VE33S. So anyway, I'm super happy with these tires so far. That front tire is like I would say it's like a hard pack to intermediate tread pattern, but it's been actually great in soft stuff. I have not ridden any tacky mud with it yet. I'm sure it would probably pack up with that. But anyway, I'll share my thoughts on these tires another time. All right, so I guess we'll do a little walk around of some of the cool stuff on this bike. So one thing, TM has these cooling fins on the stator and clutch side, which is pretty sweet. You know, I don't know how much it helps. It's got to help a little bit, for sure. But it's just a really nice touch. Furthermore, we have in here, I don't know if that you'll be able to see it because it's so dark in there, but right here is an air scoop. And this air scoop actually funnels the air through the scoop past the radiator shroud, and then there's a channel above the fuel tank right here that channels all the clean air into the air box, which is in the standard location for a 2-stroke back here. So pretty cool design there, making sure that you get clean air from the front and you're not getting you know, the dusty air from the rear being kicked up by the rear tire, etc. What else do I have here? So this is the stock number plate. My bike's dirty because, like I said, I didn't clean it since the last race. Oops. But I've added this Baja Designs S2 headlight. I actually had it laying around just kind of doing nothing. It's not hooked up to the battery yet, so it doesn't actually work yet. But all I did was like cut a couple pieces of this honeycomb pattern. I don't know if you can see, yeah, back in there. That honeycomb pattern, I just cut a piece off so I can get the connector through. And yeah, I think it fits pretty nicely in that spot. I don't think it's going anywhere. I've got the AXP radiator braces. These are like super beefy. I don't think they're going anywhere. The only thing that was kind of annoying is that the stock bolts for the plastic here, they're a little bit short. So you can still run them, but I would prefer something that's like, I don't know, 5 to 10 millimeters longer once you put on the braces. I wish that that AXP came with longer bolts to install here. Obviously I can replace them myself, but it'd be nice if it came with them. They do come with a longer bolt which fits in here, and you can see here I've already cracked this radiator shroud, which I have to repair. Let's see what else. You can see the brake pedal here. You know, I'm not sure how I feel about this, whether this is important enough to mention, but if you're familiar with KTMs, they come with the type of brake pedal where you have Allen screws that come in here, and because it's KTM, there's a huge aftermarket support, and there are a whole bunch of different brake pedal tips you can choose from. TM has their own kind of mounting point. You know, it's a single Allen screw through the backside here, and then a lock nut. Yeah, I don't know. It would be nice if it were the same as KTM, because there are some brake pedal tips that you can get that fold quite nicely, like the TRS unbreakable pedal. It would be nice to be able to use that, but yeah, whatever. Then we have, so this is not stock. Sorry, this nut and spring here are not stock. This is from Hammerhead Designs, Fastco, the guys who make flex bars. They also make a unit like this. So it's a pretty heavy spring that well, you put over your master cylinder push rod here and screw on this nut to keep it in place. And what this does is that when you press your brake pedal, it puts the spring under compression instead of this spring in front here, which I've removed, which goes under tension when you press the brake pedal. Now, that distinction maybe is not totally important, but what is important is that this is a heavier duty spring and it's adjustable. So I could screw this nut up further, or I could back it out depending on what the feel I want out of my brake pedal is. I think this is a really good upgrade. It was like, I don't know, 20 bucks. And not only does it get this spring out of the way, which, I don't know, it's kind of annoying when you're trying to get to the clutch cover sometimes. But it also increases the feedback of the brake pedal when you're pushing down on it. So, in my opinion, it helps with brake feel, rear brake feel. I know that I noticed a difference. I ran one on my YZ. I'm running it on the TM now. So, yeah. What else is there to say? I'm not really sure. I've installed my flex bars. I took them off my YZ and popped them on right here. And then my SXS flag guards, which I love. My friends tell me I should be sponsored by them because I talk about these hand guards all the time. There's one more thing I want to mention here. So I'm running a speedometer sensor in the stock location on the Brembo caliper holder. And on the TM wheels, there is no location for the magnet to mount. Okay. On KTMs and Betas, and I think Shercos, they have a front rotor mounted speedometer sensor. On the TM Enduro bikes, they come with a speedometer computer, and that sensor is on the rear wheel for some reason. I really don't know why they do that. It makes no sense. But regardless, I don't have that computer. I don't need it, whatever. What I do need is my ICO computer. If you don't know what that is, don't worry about it. But it's for enduro racing, timekeeping enduro racing. Anyway, this is my Galfer floating front rotor. This is not stock on the bike. It comes with a fixed rotor, but I got a floating one. And I actually JB welded a magnet inside one of these rivets. Don't worry, it can still move around. That part's not welded. Sorry, JB welded, not welded. It so happens that this rivet, all the rivets, line up pretty well with the sensor location on the Brembo caliper holder. So if you're thinking about adding a front speedometer sensor, then yeah, you might want to consider doing this. Just pack it with JB weld, stick a magnet in there, tape it over so it stays in place as it cures, and then yeah, just install your sensor in the caliper holder. I'm not sure what else there is to say about this bike, but I'm loving it so far, and I've only been able to race it so far. I've never been able to just go on a trail ride or even practice with it. I got it on a Friday and I had to race on Sunday, so I'm here at my practice track and I'm about to go take it for a rip, finally. Anyway, that's it.